This is a sketchbook I started back in 2016, and I had several pages in the back that were unfinished. So I went back to it and filled it up starting, I suppose it was maybe, let's see, in November. I restarted this one. So it's interesting to look back because you can see the difference. Like, this is where I started in 2016. Not like in love with these compositions really, but you can see I was doing a lot of experimentation and just trying to get a feel for what did I like and what did I want to try more of. So I was using acrylics, I was using markers, playing with patterns, and I don't even know what that one was. I feel like maybe I was working with my daughter on that one. But just taking a lot of notes, playing with some patterns. This came, encouraged by some classes I was taking at the time. This is marker and micron pen. Same here. I've since gotten away from doing like pattern type things. It just didn't stick with me. But here we have the more recent things that I've done. These were done with colored pencil, partly just because I wanted to see what it felt like to use a pencil on the paper, like the actual sensation, and see if that was something that I felt like I wanted to stick with and do more of. In the end, I didn't really love the colors of these compositions, yes, but also it's a little harder to customize the color that you want with the pencil. So these compositions I feel like are fine. I'm not a huge fan of the colors that I used. This was an experiment with pattern. It was one of our first, well, these both were within the Inspired membership. This was a prompt to just make these color blocks and then fill them with different kinds of marks and see how much we could vary it up or if we wanted to keep it similar. And then here, this was really maybe one of the first handful of compositions I did that really focused on using this form that looks a lot like a leaf or a seed. And I feel like it has deeper meaning for me, which is why I keep going back to it over and over again just to experiment with it. I see a lot of similarities between this and some other things from my own personal background and history, which someday maybe I'll write an article about it. But this is a meaningful form, which is why I keep going back to it. Ooh, we're stuck together a little bit here. Okay, and that's probably because of the acrylic paint. There's acrylic paint on these collage pieces. So this is a mixture of marker, acrylic painted collage pieces. These are collage pieces made with ink, and then I use some micron pen and some white gel pen. And here we have that seed form again. I find this one really pleasing because of the way I was able to use the markers to layer, and it really gives this almost transparent or translucent feel to those colors, a little bit like stained glass. I really enjoy that. It's probably something I'll revisit again in the future, and I may try to figure out a way to accomplish that same effect with paint so that I can bring it onto a canvas instead of just on paper. And here, this is another mixed piece. This is marker and micron pen. There's some pencil over here, and then these are collage pieces. And this appears to be a collage piece, but it's actually not. It's just the original piece of paper with the micron pen pattern on it. And then you can see this like thick line here is from my graphite pencil, which is right here. I don't know that I've shown this one before. I don't know how to say this. Koh-i-Noor. I don't that's the proper pronunciation or not, but it's a refillable graphite piece, and you can sharpen it if you want. I tend to leave it like it is just so I can get this really thick, juicy line. And then here we have collage pieces. And I did do some videos on these. Let's see. This one I have a corresponding video in the Inspired membership. This one I do also. And then this one, I just have really been enjoying these blue and green shades and how natural they feel. And I've also been attracted to the leaf form, so I just decided to throw all those into one composition, as well as this line, this arched form here with the graphite lines. And those lines I just did with a regular mechanical pencil. This is actually one of my favorite drawing tools, is just a regular old mechanical pencil, nothing fancy. But these are all different forms, colors, patterns that have been appealing to me recently, even this one down here. And you can see I went with the arches again just to see how it would feel to do an entire page that way. This might be something that I would photocopy on just my home copier printer and use these again in another piece of collage, or another composition as a piece of collage. And here I was experimenting with some new watercolors that I had. I wanted to see how they looked on this paper and how they combined with each other. So this, like several of these colors in the background, are the new watercolors. And then this is Posca acrylic pen, and this is a liquid chalk marker, which I would not recommend for this particular paper. It's just too wet, and the paper started to pill a little bit underneath the scribbling of the chalk marker. And then I have this piece of collage here that has some detailing in gold watercolor over the top of the acrylic. And then this one, is this the last one? It might be. Yeah, this is the last page. This one, and you probably can tell I was feeling a little bit lost. I wasn't quite sure what to do here, so I just picked my favorite colors that I had been using from the markers and sort of, well, I started with the pencil mark, honestly, and then had to make decisions about, did I want to fill it in or did I want to leave negative space, and where did I want to put the marker and where did I want to use the collage. And I just used these random pieces, and this is a piece that I cut out, and it just had this gray or brownish green color, and then I added the marks later with Micron pen. And then this also, these arches are a piece of collage as well, as so are these right here, and this one, and this one, and this one. There's a lot of collage on this particular page. But that is this little book. Oh, one more. So what I love about this page, you'll see these, like this chunk right here and this chunk right here is actually the same. These both are photocopies of an original piece of like collage paper, a pattern I made on a piece of mixed media paper, and then I photocopied it with my home copier on different colored pieces of paper. And then I've been using that particular section, because I really like it, by cutting them out and combining them with other things and combining them with multiples. And then I sort of carried it through right here using some colored pencil. This is colored pencil, this is marker, this is also another piece of collage. There's some Micron pen over here, some pencil here, marker down here, and then this is watercolor over the marker. And I actually love how the watercolor made the marker start to bleed in those sections. It's an effect I'll probably try to replicate at some point. But overall, it was a great experiment, and I'm happy with these last few pages that I did in this book. There we go.